Hi guys, welcome to FPL Team Talk. In this video we're going to do my final Game Week 7 wildcard. I mean, mulling it over, I'm still not 100% sure that I'm going to be doing it, but quite a lot of people have activated their wildcard. It's either going to be this week or next week for a lot of people with the fixture swings, a lot of injuries taking place. There's news on Trent having been out maybe for a few weeks, unsure about Shaw. There's people like Rafinha constantly with flags, Bamford out, DCL out, so there's a lot of teams with surgery needed, so a lot of people wildcarding. Let's have a look and see what it is that we can possibly do. So the main reasons, like I've said, injury, suspensions, just named a few of them. Fixture swings, Leeds fixtures look great, Wolves in the middle of a good nice run of fixtures, teams like Palace, Southampton also having fixture swings coming up as well we might want to jump onto. Players having form, we've seen the likes of Gallagher as well possibly picking up form. Jimenez has scored, so can we take advantage of that? Lots of good reason why you should wildcard. Not saying you should do it for price rises, but there's certain players now that are rising in price that just could possibly get sort of priced out of it unless you move now as opposed to later on. So please give us a subscribe. If you enjoy this video, you want more of this sort of content, press that like button. Let's have a look at the first wildcard. Okay, Ramsdale and Foster just been, I think, just obvious choices for me. Ramsdale appears to be completely nailed on. That was a worry, I think, a couple of weeks ago when he came in. Was he going to share minutes with Leno? Doesn't look as if that's the case. He looks nailed on. Those Arsenal fixtures looks good. For 4.5, I think he's a bit of a gift for the FPL community from FPL. So Ramsdale just comes in. Nothing wrong with Sanchez. I'm just looking at those fixtures. I like that Arsenal defence. Having said that, the XGA, the expected goals against, Brighton's defence has just been brilliant. He doesn't ever seem to get those goal saves, put extra bonus points, so that's always a slight irritation, but you can't blame anyone going for Sanchez. Personally, I'm going to put my faith in Ramsdale. 4 million. Foster's the lowest rated playing goalkeeper for Watford. I don't see him getting a lot of time in my side, but there may be in the future 1 or 2 games where I could swap and chip between the two. Certainly gives me security that if Ramsdale does, for whatever reason, miss games, Foster comes in. I don't want to have to make transfers on the goalkeepers. More often than not, the rest of the side needs surgery or taking advantage of fixtures. I don't want to have to book in a transfer for a goalkeeper. So those two are there to stay. Defensively, I've really gone all out. There's a lovely fixture swing, obviously, now for Chelsea. Look at those green fixtures. Christensen and Rudiger. I've done the stats. I've done a video recently. Check it out if you haven't seen it already, on playing minutes for Chelsea, playing minutes for Manchester City. The prices, the goal threat. For me, unless it's Alonso and James in and out of the side at the moment for suspension, for injuries, if it's not those two, the goal threat from the rest of the centre-backs just doesn't look there. Azpilicueta's may change because he's obviously playing as a right wing-back at the moment. But as soon as James comes back in, you'd imagine he'll move to the middle. None of those centre-backs are going to get 38 games. They're all at rotation risk. You would say possibly Azpilicueta is the most nailed on, but he's 6 million. I think I prefer to go with Christensen. I know he's going to miss 1 out of sort of 4 or 5 games. I'm going to live with that for 5 million. Rudiger gives me the cover as well. He's fairly nailed on, you'd say. So between the two of them, I'm expecting at least one of those to play every week, if not both for the majority of the games. And those fixtures is brilliant. I'm not going to get many attacking returns. Rudiger does have a little bit of threat, and he's already scored this season, but I'm certainly not bringing him in for that. Alonso's the obvious choice. I just don't. I know Chilwell's going to get minutes at some point, and for his price, he is 5.9. I just know for those Chilwell comes in. I know the moment I bring Alonso in, Chilwell's going to start getting minutes. So for that reason, I can't bring him in. I want to, I really do. I just don't want to take the risk. I just feel like he's just going to be a headache every week. I'm going to look at that team sheet and just not know if he's playing. I don't want that. I think Rudiger and Christensen over the rest of the season will get minutes. I just can't believe that Chilwell won't be part of the side. Looking at that City defence, I know that you've got Diaz and Cancelo. They look phenomenal. Cancelo, as we know, open play has really nice goal threat going forward. He's played every minute of every game so far, as has Diaz. That's not to say it's going to go forward and continue to do that. They will get, you would have thought, some sort of rotation. At the moment, though, with City in their centre-back situation, Laporte's come back. Stones isn't playing. Ake doesn't seem to be getting the minutes. It's a case of Diaz plus one on the defender. So until Stones comes back and gets match fitness, you think that Diaz is going to be sharing time alongside either Laporte or Ake. So Diaz, I still think he's nailed in. He missed a few games at the end of last season when the fixture list just got crazy, but I think he's nailed, and I want to take advantage of that. I've thrown a real curveball in with Lamptey. I just think, for those of us who played FPL from last season, he was really good. I think in the first 11 games last season, he had a really nice expected goal involvement. He got something like 1 goal, 3 assists. So he covers me with that Brighton defence. It's still solid. It's going to take a while for him to get back in that side, but for 4.4, international break coming up, that's a 2-week break. I'm hoping that maybe he can get back into side and start getting minutes then. And the fixtures don't look too bad. For 4.4, I'm happy to have him on the bench. The alternative could be someone like White. I could go Duffy, but for me, I think Lamptey looks really good. He is on the bench at the moment. He played some time in the EFL Cup, so there's potential for him to get back into the side very, very soon. So I'm going Lamptey, but I think that's a conversation that could be had whether you stick with him or you go for someone who you know is going to be playing. I wouldn't blame you if you went for someone like a Duffy, a Livramento as well as an enabler. For me, I love Lamptey, and I think I want to get on him as soon as I can. Midfield then, Rafinha's an absolute set and forget for me. He's got great fixtures. Constantly seems to have that flag and that niggle, but he does still seem to play. They seem to be resting him and managing him until he gets fitness back. And you would hope over the international break that maybe if he misses the Brazilian games that he will get that break and come back fully fit. But nonetheless, he's still scoring and returning every week. Rafinha 6.5, still the best rated midfielder at that price, I think. Salah is just a set and forget. He's a non-negotiable. He plays every week. Even when you're playing Manchester City, I still wouldn't want to play without him. You just know he can score against anyone. Gallagher's been fantastic. Look at that expected goal involvement per 90 minutes. He just seems to get involved in everything. So I like Palace. They have 1 or 2 fixtures, which I might end up dropping him for, but he does have some nice ones coming up. I just think he's getting involved in everything Palace do. Does come through him. He's focal to everything. I think he looks a really good player. I put Gray in there. That's something I feel he's up for debate, and I'll talk about that later on. As we know, he's done really well. His goal involvement is good. He's overachieving in terms of what his expected goal involvement is. Couple of tough fixtures for him. Again, I can't play the whole of this side, so he's possibly one that I would bench. But I love having that option for him coming in later on. Saves me a transfer, but he is up for debate because I do have some money left over at the end of this wildcard. Saka, he seems nailed on in that Arsenal team. Goal involvement against Tottenham, and 0.57 is pretty decent. For 6.2, I just want him involved. I think those fixtures for Arsenal look good. They seem to have turned a corner. They look hungry. I know the teams they played against haven't been particularly strong, but I think I want Saka part of that team. At 6.2, he's a great differential at the moment. I think I want him part of my team. Up front, absolutely had to love Lukaku with those fixtures. I've got to have 3 Chelsea players. No one in that midfield really screams out to me for Chelsea. Mount perhaps not explosive enough. Lukaku just is the obvious choice there. His goal involvement looks brilliant. Talking of goal involvement, if we whip across again to Tony there, Antonio, he just has to play. Look at that, it's incredible. 1.31. There's absolutely no way he can keep that up. But West Ham scoring goals against everyone, I just think he has to go in. One caveat to that as well, on the screen, I've bought him in, I've had him in since the start of the season, so I guess taking him out of the wildcard and then bringing him back in would cost me money. I would lose quite a bit of that transfer profit because he's gone up to 8 million, so I want to keep that. So for that purpose as well, it makes sense for me to keep him, but I do think he's a great player to keep in his side. He's just someone that just seems to be scoring everywhere, every game. And as long as he stays fit, I think he's just a set and forget. Tony as well, he's been fantastic. I think everyone had him at the start. He's dropped in price as people got rid of him. He has tough games coming up, but again, he's someone I'm happy to put on the bench. And then they do have a good set of fixtures when they turn after the international break. I think he's been brilliant. He's on pens as well. Brentford are scoring goals. He's absolutely nailed on that side. You have alternatives if you want to. You've got people like Armstrong that could come in as well. You could upgrade him to a Jimenez, to a Bamford. There is money in the bank with this formation and this team, but Again, I'm really happy with Tony. He looks the real deal for me. Didn't know much about him other than he was a phenomenal goal scoring player in the Championship for Brentford. But when I've seen him play, he just looks brilliant, and I'm happy to back him. He certainly passes the eye test for me. So there's the side, guys. I've got all of it in its entirety. I'm really happy with it. I think there's one or two players that, yeah, you could definitely tinker around with. There's a few non-negotiables. I mean, I definitely want to double up on that Chelsea defence. I couldn't blame if you wanted to take a risk with Alonso. Thiago Silva, for me, I just don't see him playing 2 games a week. Which ones he's going to get prioritised for, I don't know. So again, he's a bit of a up in the air one. Azpilicueta's more nailed on. You could upgrade your Rudiger to that, or your Christensen. There's 1.6 million in the bank for this, but everyone's going to have a slightly different budget as well, so you have to bear that in mind. Lamptey, you could upgrade again to someone else. I certainly wouldn't begrudge anyone going to someone like a Ben White. I mean, Darlow and Tellers, depending on how far Shaw is out there. I did want to leave money in the bank because I wanted to have a way back to Trent. Trent out, not sure what's happening with him. Tough game at the weekend anyway. So this is without Trent. 1.6 in the bank. I do have a way back to him if I need to with that money. I don't particularly like it. My first draft had Trent in it. I would like Trent in it if I'm honest, but this is what you're able to do without him. I've got double Man City defence, double Chelsea defence. I've got the Arsenal goalkeeper, a really attacking fullback from Brighton. I've got Lukaku, Salah, Saka, Rafinha. It's a really nice side. But one or two people that we could tinker with and have a look at, I'm absolutely not against that either. Okay, guys, I really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. If you've got any comments or would like to see us talk about anything else, please let us know. Anyone that you think you would put on your side instead, love to hear from you. In the meantime, good luck, take care, speak to you soon.